happening again. It is happening again. The Accidentally Fasting Podcast is happening again. Welcome to episode 9, everybody. A landmark episode again because we're doing a special one for Twin Peaks week.
Do 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 do. Bow 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 bow. Hey guys, welcome back to Accidentally Fasting. And yes, he's right, because you know what February 24th was? It was Twin Peaks Day. It is when Dale Cooper says, "Diane, I'm approaching the town of Twin Peaks at 10:30 a.m. or whatever the hell he says, right?
Yeah. Hi, Diane. It's good to see you again. We're sitting on a couch with a blanket. My breakfast was, well, I didn't eat breakfast, but I had a healthy lunch of a salad and soup and dinner of soup. So
Air's comfortable. There's the silent humming going on from the washing machine.
population 2 plus 1 cat.
Some mystical things occurring in the backyard.
Mystical is right. It's warming up because it's a nice warm spring day almost.
Yeah, we in the black. That's what happens when you're in the Black Lodge, though. It's pretty warm in there.
Well, and I mean, this winter feels like it's taken 25 years to finish, so it's kind of cool that it's warming up finally. I can stand outside without a jacket on tonight.
Yeah, it is exciting. The weather in Washington, I don't know how that's out there, though.
It's rainy, and there are a lot of beautiful Douglas firs.
Are we just going to keep doing these stupid
No,
things?
I think that's it. So everybody, as you know, if you've been listening to the podcast, we are huge, massive David Lynch fans and even bigger Twin Peaks fans. We've watched the first 2 seasons a billion times and the third season at least 2 times in full. I think when the first episodes dropped for season 3, we watched them like a million times in a row.
Yeah. It's been a while, though, since we've watched season 3, though, so...
Yeah, but we'll be doing it here again once we get some free time and quit traveling so much.
True that.
But tonight we're broadcasting live from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yes,
live.
and we did go to Snoqualmie Falls. We did go there.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been there, but we've been to North Bend, and it was a cool little town. And Snoqualmie, and those were fun places.
We went into the Great Lodge. Oh my gosh,
the
Great
Black
Northern.
Lodge. Yeah, the Great Northern Hotel, which is not as rustic as it is in the show, because that's a different hotel in the show. At least the interior is.
Supposedly you can get a nice sandwich there, though. We didn't eat there. We ate at the diner. What is it called?
R&R Diner.
Yeah, R&R.
Double R.
Yeah, but in an IRL, what's it called?
Fuck, I don't know.
I can't remember. But yeah, that was pretty good. They had like Twin Peaks memorable. I cannot talk tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me. So I saw Blueface. We saw Blueface last night, and I was screaming like a crazy person. We should talk. Dang. So this is our Twin Peaks episode. I guess we could talk about our Blueface experience. That'd be exciting.
Yeah, but let's start with Twin Peaks first.
All right. Well, I bet Blueface likes Twin Peaks, so.
Yeah. I don't know. It's surprising who does, because when we saw Corey Taylor,
yeah,
he was wearing a Who Killed Laura Palmer t-shirt.
Was that, did we see Looking at You Through the Glass band, or was that a different band? Oh, Stone Sour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a while back, too, though. So Twin Peaks, the reach of Twin Peaks is far and broad. So there's not really anything specific about the old seasons that I wanted to talk about, but I mean, there's always episode 8.
Well, we could talk
3.
about who our favorite characters are.
I really liked how in season 3, when it wrapped up, Norma and Ed had a really happy ending.
Yeah.
I think that was the best moment in the new season.
I think Norma, she's probably one of my favorite characters. I'll tell you who I don't like.
I didn't like Shelley's daughter.
Oh, was that Amanda Seyfried or whatever her name was?
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't even... honestly,
I
I need to rewatch that season because I don't really remember like a lot of specifics of the characters. Whom I always complain about that I hate in Twin Peaks.
James.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of do it just because everybody else found him annoying, so it's just fun to do, like, to make fun of him.
Mm-hmm.
But probably, I don't know.
I mean, everybody hates Bob.
No, everybody loves Bob.
He's a scary guy. I think when Bob was, like, his first appearance in the original seasons.
That was frightening. I think I screamed.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest episodes of television, and I had just binged, I think,
and
all
I can't
of
believe
X-Files.
they played that on ABC. Like, ABC is such a nice, wholesome family channel. It's just crazy that was the network that they aired it on or whatever. But
you know what I really like about that show is the weird music. Like, not season 3's, like, every episode ending with a band.
You don't like the Nine Inch Nails?
Well, that was a good episode, I guess. I just like that, like, in the last couple episodes of the second season of the first, like, I don't know what you'd call it, the original showing or whatever. The, like, Sycamore music, and then Fire Walk With Me had that cool album, the soundtrack. But then David Lynch's album that was kind of a secret album that was done around the time of Fire Walk With Me, that's really good. I just listened to that in full, like, I think when it first came out I picked it up, but I just listened to it again in full the other day.
Well, is it Floating Into the Night? The album by Julie Cruz that, you know, had Falling and all that. I mean, that's like one of my favorite albums too. Just Julie Cruz. It's kind of, I don't know, is she crazy now? Because I know she went crazy after she was on after the episode was shown or whatever. My brain is not working today. Yeah, she went on a big old Facebook rant and was pissed off because she wasn't on there for a long time. And a lot of people were amping her up, though. They're like, yeah, that's fucked up. You're a legend. Why would he only, leave you on for 2 seconds? And I don't know. It's like, it really I didn't want to rehash it,
Yeah, I mean, and that was kind of the thing around that whole season 3 was like, it's not a trip through the old Twin Peaks. Yeah, it's the new Twin Peaks.
The only thing is, like, they just sang, just you.
Yeah, that was really cool when James did that live in the Bang Bang Bar.
James has always been cool.
The Roadhouse, starring Patrick Swayze.
We went to a bar in Austin that was a lot like that bar.
Yeah, what was that called? The White Horse?
Yeah.
And it had the curtains and the stage and stuff and, like, red lights and all that, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
That just goes to show again how far and broad the influence of Twin Peaks is. It's just so massive and you don't really notice it. Like, David Duchovny was in it. It inspired X-Files, and his character Denise was freaking hilarious. And then when she was like director of the FBI or whatever in the new one, that was pretty funny because he's like, it's kind of an alternate universe Mulder when, because
I much prefer Denise over Mulder, I must say.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just think, I don't know. He just has more confidence, I guess.
I don't know
sorry,
about
she has more
that.
confidence.
Yeah, she. I kind of wish that Denise would have rode with Gordon Cole on the way to that weird South Dakota place when they were going to see Coop.
Her role was pretty limited, though. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of those cameos where, like, I think because that was such like a cult icon, that character or whatever, like, because it was one of David Duchovny's first roles on television before X-Files and stuff, and he blew up with X-Files. I think they just kind of had him in to do it, just like some of the other characters.
Fire Walk With Me is, I mean, a lot of people don't like it for some reason, but I thought it was really good. It's just so sad. I just remember, I don't know if I cried during it, but I felt so bad for Laura Palmer. Like,
yeah, it really opens up the...
I think it was important to show, the whole background of it.
Yeah, it really, like, Chester Desmond or whatever his name is, like, it really opens up the backstory and, like, the evilness of Twin Peaks, especially, like, the scenes above the bar and stuff. But what's weird is, like, in Fire Walk With Me, where those guys are meeting, Bob and Mike and all those little dancy people, then there's that gas station in season 3 where the, what are they called? The Woodsman.
Yeah,
the Woodsman.
Can we talk about Bob being a basketball though in season 3. I just completely forgot about that, but that was the funniest shit ever.
See, that's kind of what I didn't like about season.
Like,
it made it more
ridiculous.
dreamy, like the Englishman with the green glove. Like it kind of made it like more like the ending was a dream. And I had a crazy dream about like an alternate ending to that series. Did I tell you about that? It was like, so I mean, it's kind of fan fiction-y, but it's the exact dream that I had. And I think it's a cool ending. So my dream started when I think like Coop was like arrested or something. So he was in jail, and Gordon Cole and what's Alfred or whatever, what's his name? Albert.
Oh, I love Albert.
Yeah, rest in peace that guy, because that guy was a good actor. So Albert and Gordon Cole go to the jail in my dream to get Coop out, and like they walk out of jail and they get on this bus, and it's like a city bus or whatever, and they ride the bus for however long, and then they get to like a dock in the center of a city, kind of like if you were on the river in Chicago or something like that. And then so there's a boat, and Diane, Coop, and Gordon Cole get on the boat, and Albert's like, this is as far as I go, you know, you guys have fun with this weird shit. So they get on this boat, and it's like an open top boat with like 100 people on it, and it's just rows and rows of sitting, sort of like a bigger one of the river walk in San Antonio where you ride around on those boats in there. So if you imagine that boat being like 4 times the size, right? And then they go into this tunnel on this massive river, and it gets super dark, and then the boat pulls up to a wall, and there's like a little hole in the wall, and then all the people shrink and go into this hole, and then there's like crazy colors flashing, and it's all black and white, and then they come out of the water, and like they're floating in this hole, and like some people turn into those basketballs and roll into another hole, and there's sort of like a room that's above the water, dry floor, and there's the hole to the right at the bottom of a wall, and the wall has a one-way mirror on it, kind of like an interrogation room. And then opposite that, in the corner, is a doorway, and there's a giant standing outside the doorway, and there's a line of people leading up to the doorway. So Gordon Cole turns into a ball and goes in the little hole, and then Diane and Coop stand in line, and they, you know, kind of get closer to the thing, the giant, and he's got a piece of paper, and he's asking everybody questions who goes into this door. So then I think Cooper gets to the door in my dream first, and the giant whispers, "What'll it be?" And he says, "Coffee, black," you know. And then so he takes Diane's order and opens the door for the people in front of Coop, and they walk in, and there's a tunnel that's like an old brick sewer tunnel, and there's like these weird beings that are like arms and legs.
Remember this all so vividly?
I wrote it down. I'm writing it up as a short story, so
gotcha.
Writing it really helped me remember it. So in this little tunnel, there's a bunch of limbs, and the people in front of Coop walk into it, and they kind of break up the body. Like they tear the person apart, but it's like blocks, kind of like the funny woodsman floating away face style. Like they just kind of fall to pieces, and then the pieces like melt into the ground under them, like hundreds of arms and mouths and stuff, and then like form a mannequin that walks out, and then a door to the left of the first door into the hallway opens, and there's a like super bright white light, and the mannequin walks into that door, and then it closes. So then the giant turns to Cooper and says, "You can both go if you like, but when you come out, you'll be one." So then Cooper and Diane walk into the hallway, and the door closes behind them, and then they walk into like the thousands of hands, and they both get torn apart and melt, and then they walk out as a mannequin and go into the door where there's a bright light, and then the door closes. And that was the end of Twin Peaks season 3 in my dream. I thought that was fucking crazy. That
is crazy.
That dream like changed my life for Twin Peaks fandom stuff. It was really, really weird. And I had that like a long time after season 3 ended.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really weird. But then behind that interrogation mirror, the one-way mirror in the big room where the giant was, it goes to Gordon Cole, and he's standing there like smiling that Coop and Diane went into this weird doorway and turned into a light mannequin.
Do you know, I don't really like Gordon Cole that much, I have to say.
Yeah, I think he's like a pretty one-dimensional character in the new season, at least.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I liked is when he was flirting with Shelley. I mean, that was about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had more of a personality in the old ones.
Yeah, I agree.
Before the glass box and the weird airplane ride. But yeah, I think he's just kind of there to help tell the story or whatever. Like, he's not really he's definitely not part of the main plot.
I think he was just like the prototype of like your 50s guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just his mannerisms and everything, just a more exaggerated thing.
Well, one of the cool things to see would be like a prequel of Gordon Cole and what happened to him 25 years before Twin Peaks season 1.
Wasn't that The Secret of Twin Peaks? Isn't that the book? Damn, I never finished that book.
It went back. So The Secret History of Twin Peaks and the other book that came out that I can't remember the title of, I read both of them, and they were really entertaining, and they did fill in a lot of the details. I highly recommend them. And it's really just the history of all the... It's sort of a mix of both. Like, it's things that happened before and after Twin Peaks. So you know that, like, Shelley and Norma aren't really related. The lady who comes into town as Shelley's mom, I don't think is actually Shelley's mom. Or no, sorry, it's Annie and Norma or whatever.
I hate Annie.
However, I don't remember. It's been too long since I've read the books, and I only read them both once. But you know, and it's like her story of abuse and stuff, and their dad, whatever happened with him, and then Annie ends up in an insane asylum and dies like before season 3 or whatever in the insane asylum. I would have liked to see more. With Audrey. I think that would have been...
Yeah, it's that I don't like what they did to her in the new season. It's weird, like there was so much of the new season that I hated. I mean, overall, I really liked it, but it was just so frustrating. You remember how frustrating it was to watch.
After every episode, we'd go on a walk or a jog, and then it'd be like, how fucking horrible was that? I bet Dale comes back next episode.
I know. It was, yeah, every time we watched it, we're wondering when he would come back. Spoiler alert, he doesn't. Just kidding.
I am the FBI.
Yeah.
Which was one of the best moments in television history, I think.
Speaking of, what was that? Oh, the little man, Michael Anderson, what's his name? Man from the Other Place.
Yeah.
What the hell is his name?
Yeah.
That's another, I wish we could interview him for our podcast.
That was kind of funny how they made him a tree.
Yes, oh yeah.
But it was weird that the tree had like a doppelganger too, and like, it just really, I feel like there was kind of a plot to the weirdness in the first 2 seasons, and in the 3rd season it was just kind of throwing shit together. And
like there was
making
like
it real
weird
crazy.
sex in the
with Diane and Coop and stuff.
Yeah, and then Dougie Jones having sex and everybody was all angry about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you haven't seen it, you're probably like, the fuck. But I don't think people are going to listen to this if they haven't seen it. I got some positive feedback because I posted a picture, you know, the February 24th picture. So I know that some people wanted us to talk about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a super huge important thing. And I think it is cool, like, how you were talking about Fire Walk With Me, where it, like, opens up this huge, like, plot about Laura and all this weird stuff, and then that's what's explained at the end of season 3. Like, I like how they tied in Fire Walk With Me and didn't ignore it, like some shows ignore their movies, like X-Files sort of ignored their movies. You know, so it's cool that that's all part of the whole, like, canon or whatever. It's also cool that David Lynch didn't relinquish control. I know they had different directors for episodes in the original 2 seasons, but I like how he didn't do that for the new season.
Yeah.
I think it would have made it too, like, X-Files-y, where they have different, or like...
I think it would have been... Well, how much did Mark Frost have in the new one?
I think a lot. I think episode 8, you know, the big artsy episode with the nuclear bomb and stuff, I think that was mostly Mark Frost. I think when it originally came out, like,
Everybody thought it was David Lynch.
And I think I read something either on his Twitter or the Twin Peaks subreddit. I think he did an AMA kind of around there. And yeah, I was like, you were watching it like, damn, this is crazy David Lynch shit. And then it was like, well, no, most of that was Mark Frost.
Well, maybe his heart's getting colder as he gets older because his name is Frost.
Yeah, it could be. I would have liked to see what happened with James more in depth because he had such a big plot line in the second season that was like that big soap opera deal.
Oh, yeah.
Like when he went around the country and explored, like it would have been cool if they played more on that, I think, rather than him just being there. She's dead, wrapped in plastic. So Pete, so we need to talk about the magnificent background characters. Pete, Josie.
Ew.
Whatever, dude.
What the
I don't
fuck,
care.
Dude? No.
Josie and the Ghostwood Lodge, like, were really cool plot lines with the James, like,
She was just so boring, though.
Yeah, but that was all Sheriff Truman.
Ben Horne's mistress was way better. Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine. That's Pete. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but... Okay, I know you're not a biggest fan of Dr. Jacoby, even though you keep wanting to buy his glasses, but...
Why would I not be a big fan of Dr. Jacoby?
This aesthetic of him was just amazing. Like,
gold shovel to shovel the shit. You gotta dig yourself out of the shit.
Yeah.
No, I think that if I were like anyone in Twin Peaks, the series, it would be Dr. Jacoby.
I think if Harvey Weinstein were anybody in Twin Peaks, it would be Dr. Jacoby.
That's true too. I meant I would be like the good parts of Jacoby, not the bad parts of Jacoby, because he was a fucked up motherfucker. That's true. Like that's a good point. You don't think of Jacoby as being as fucked up as he is.
Well, it's crazy. I think if the whole scenario was in a new TV show, I think people would have like a real big issue with that because he was so in love with Laura Palmer. They had sex, right?
Yeah, they had sex.
That was his client. She was under 18.
It was his client, but he was her client as well, because she was a hooker.
Oh, yeah, but that's, okay, if you're a licensed, or a clinical psychiatrist or whatever you are, that's crossing, that's having two relationships. That's a dual relationship anyway.
Right. Well, he lost his license.
So you probably shouldn't be counseling your hooker.
But that's why he lost his license, and that's in the books. So that's why you got to read the books.
Ah, shit.
But
then I don't hear the music.
But I bet you that's true, and that music is phenomenal. Like you said, that soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks of any television. I mean, that's one of the interesting things. Yeah, like all that cool stuff. Like the X-Files, if you get the songs in the key of X or whatever it is, like it's all a bunch of bands playing music that is pretty much unrelated to the show. But Twin Peaks, just like a quality film, Angelo Badalamenti and David Lynch wrote all that music for the show and released the soundtrack specifically of just that music for the show, which was cool.
I was interesting side note, but I guess have you ever watched Bates Motel?
No. Yeah. We watched the first couple episodes.
These people were cocky enough to be like, well, there were only 30 episodes or 20 episodes of Twin Peaks, so we wanted to make the other 40 or some shit. So they were acting like they were the new...
Oh, that show was nowhere near
I don't even remember it.
I was actually talking to somebody earlier tonight who said that Atlanta is the rap Twin Peaks.
Damn. Now that's what I'm talking about.
I'm not a huge Donald Glover fan, and I don't really like whatever his rap alter ego is, but...
Yeah.
That might be worth it looking into. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Ain't nothing gonna beat Twin Peaks, though. Like, I know that people call me pretentious because I don't like Stranger Things. I'm sorry, but I think if you've watched Twin Peaks, I think it's just really hard to like something that's trying so hard to be it. And then the music and everything, it's just like the most bubblegum, like...
Well, people are gonna unsubscribe just because of that fact that Stranger Things, like, fuck that. I don't care. I'm totally fine. And that's where, again, like...
And this is all subjective. If you guys do like it, who cares?
That's your problem, yeah.
That's just your... who cares? We're just giving our opinion. I don't think anybody's stupid if they don't like Twin Peaks or whatever. I know it's hard. It's a hard show to get into. I've tried so many times, different people to get them to watch it, and I don't think I've been successful with any, actually.
Well, even for background story, like, I mean, we say that stuff like fuck that or whatever, but I mean, we watched the first half of the first episode of Twin Peaks.
And then stopped for like 3 years and never watched it again.
Yeah, it was literally almost exactly a calendar year where we were like, I don't get it. And then we stopped and went on to
why
other
did we watch it again? I think it's because I watched Blue Velvet. That's what it was. I watched Blue Velvet, and then I love that movie.
Well, I think you had discovered it or whatever through some roundabout means because you were the big Eraserhead fan. And I was a big fan of Elephant Man. And so, like, when we watched Twin Peaks, we were kind of like, well, this isn't like either of these. And it really did take Blue Velvet to sort of tie it all together. Because I'd seen Dune, and like Dune, I like Dune for what it is. I mean, I know it's not the most respected sci-fi movie, but what the fuck is, you know? Like, a lot of those big production movies about huge sci-fi books aren't really that fantastic or whatever, but...
I think that's good advice, though, to give people is if you're interested in watching Twin Peaks, watch Blue Velvet first, because you'll probably really like that movie, and then you'll fall in love with Kyle MacLachlan as, like, you know, a little investigator person.
Well, and it is almost a prequel to Twin Peaks, but not only that, but...
I think just because it sets you in the tone or in the mood for that kind of movie.
Yeah, unlike most TV shows, I think, you kind of have to be in the perfect mindset for Twin Peaks. I think that's one of the, like, artistic aspects of it is, like you can sit down and watch, like... whatever Netflix TV show, like Daredevil or Stranger Things or Fringe, which it's not a Netflix show, but you can do these like
Hoarders, My 600-Pound Life.
Yeah, but we watch Sopranos just out of nowhere,
those are very accessible.
You can get home from work and watch an episode of Seinfeld, but to really appreciate Twin Peaks and understand and deal with it, like. You don't really just show up and watch an episode here or there.
Yeah, it's stressful to me. I mean, at least the third season was stressful, but I mean, a lot of parts of it are just... you know what? I just realized this. When Leland became basically paralyzed or whatever, or brain dead, that was as frustrating, almost not quite, obviously not quite as Dougie Jones. Like, that whole situation with him and, the fuck is his name? The evil guy.
Bob?
No.
Ben Horn?
No.
Mike?
No, Dale Cooper's FBI partner. He fucked his wife. What's his name?
Oh, you're talking about, oh, fuck.
Oh my gosh, why can't I remember his name? It's the stupidest name ever.
Well, it starts with a W.
Waylon? No. Ah, fuck. This is gonna bug me. Wyndham Earl.
Yeah, Wyndham Earl.
Yeah, so that part where he held Leland captive or whatever, I was very frustrated by it. Yes, it was. He was living in the cabin with him. Remember? He was torturing him?
No. That was Shelley's husband.
Oh, fuck, dude. That's what I meant. I didn't mean Leland.
Leland is Laura Palmer's dad.
I know. Dude, it just came in my brain.
Yeah.
Well,
oh, man.
Shelley's husband, what's his name?
Well, it's a bummer that I don't think he died from those spider bites, When Wyndham Earl releases those spiders, the tarantulas or whatever, it was like a horror thing, but you're kind of like, well, but those aren't bad enough to kill you. But Leo got out of that. Like, he I think if you read the books, I think he survived.
I said Leland because it's Leo.
Yeah.
I know who the fuck Leo is in Leland.
Yeah.
I have such a bad memory. Anyways,
it's tough,
but
though.
Wouldn't you say that wasn't frustrating to you, that whole thing? Like, I mean, even when, just the whole part of it, when they were having the birthday party and
I think
they had the kazoo in his mouth. I mean, it was frustrating.
That's kind of an interesting parallel that you bring up. Like, the things that we are frustrated about now watching season 3, like, if you watch season 1 and 2, and it's basically like a soap opera, I can imagine that the things that happened in Twin Peaks season 1 and 2 were extremely frustrating for people who were used to watching TV back then.
Yeah, I can't imagine. watching it back then.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about that. And I hadn't really thought about that in the way that, like, it's relative to the time period that you're watching it. But I guess David Lynch is really good about doing that, too.
Well, I think it's really cool that he always has that, you know, nostalgic factor of the 50s always in, you know, like juxtaposition to the current time. Because I think that makes his movies always fresh in a way, though, because he's never trying to be present. He is, but then he's taking elements from the 50s. So I think it doesn't really feel outdated to me ever.
Yeah.
Even though you would think it would be because it's the 50s.
Yeah, it's almost like intentionally dated or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think that is really cool about that stuff is like you're right, like that placement of out of time sort of feeling makes it transcend time. Like if you intentionally include your show, a part in your show of it being in the 50s or 60s or whatever, then when you go back to 2017 or whatever it was that it took place in, because even the end of season 3, when Dale is like on this weird time trip through who knows what the fuck he's going through, and it's not even really Dale Cooper anymore in the end of that. Like, it looks like 2017, but you're not 100% sure. You know?
Yeah, I don't think it ended in 2017 or 2016.
Yeah, like everything I've read about the ending of season 3, like, because it starts in Odessa when he goes back and he finds Judy, and he goes to find Laura, and she's got the dead body on the couch that's been shot in the head or whatever and has been dead for a long time. When he enters Odessa, the population of the town, because people do some fucking crazy detective work, the population of the town of Odessa is what the population was in 2017. So that's kind of something. And that's really, you know, it's kind of funny because Twin Peaks is a totally fictional town. And they have this like 5,000 and whatever population that's miswritten as 50,000 or however that's done. And it's weird that like population kind of takes such a large role in the show. And I remember that being a big thing. Like originally the network was afraid that if it was too small of a town, then people wouldn't see it as relevant or realistic.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, which is funny because, like, I mean, we both lived in Gallup, and the population is like 14,000, if that.
I lived in a small suburb in Ohio, and I think we had 1,000 people by the time I lived there, so it was really tiny.
Yeah, and Twin Peaks isn't necessarily a suburb, but it's also not really a standalone town. I mean, it is, but it's like in the middle of nowhere, and it's not. It's not a city by any means.
But I think Lynch kind of addressed, Mark Frost and David Lynch kind of addressed that with the introduction of Albert, because he uses, you know, big city fed, and then he comes in and he ends up being, he gets his ass beat by Harry. I mean,
I wouldn't say he got his ass beat. He's a pacifist and he follows the paths of Gandhi and Martin Luther King. And no, that was a cool. I mean, like, Albert's a really complex character because you kind of have to think, like, is he being a hypocrite? Like, I'm not 100% sure, because he's a total complete fucking douchebag. And then when he gets punched and he gives, you know, Harry Truman a hug or whatever, like, and says, you know, I'm a total pacifist and I wouldn't be, like, I do what's in the best interest of
But it's funny because he's an FBI agent. He's probably, like, shot and killed people, you know?
But he's not that kind of agent, though. He's not like. I wonder if Agent Cooper outranks Special Agents Mulder and Scully.
Definitely. Come on.
Well, I mean, as a character, maybe, but like in the FBI, if they were in a similar universe.
Yeah, I wonder. They would probably be annoyed AF with Dale Cooper.
Yeah.
Especially Scully.
Well,
she'd probably bone him, though, definitely.
Well, he's a very, he's kind of like, I think Mulder takes after him, Spooky Mulder, because he was a violent crime investigator, and then he became a paranormal investigator later on. I think
that, sorry to go back to Scully and Dale having sex, but I think he wouldn't like how independent he is, because if you look at his Well, I guess he fucked Diane, but was that really him? And we don't really know what the real relationship with him and Diane was.
I think we know that pre-Dale going into the Black Lodge, they had a relationship. I think that Wyndham Earle's wife, after that, Dale had some intimate times with Diane. And then after Twin Peaks season 1 and 2, Doppeldale had, or Doppelcoop as they call him on the internet, had some intimate shit with Diane.
I just think looking at, Annie or Audrey, I think, and then he's just so, like, wholesome and stuff. I don't know. And he's very traditional.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I couldn't see him having a romantic relationship with Scully.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I'm sure there's some fan fiction out there, some literotica that delves into that. That'd be pretty interesting to read.
Yeah, Kyle MacLachlan, you'll have to answer that question. And also Gillian Anderson. So
you don't pronounce her name Gillian?
I don't think so. I think it's that's like Cillian Murphy. It's not Killian Murphy, I don't think. But it could be. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's such a complex universe. It's so hard to discuss, but I mean, I'm glad that it's had such an impact that there's like a Twin Peaks Day. Like, yeah. Like, I'm glad it's not like I've always wanted to watch the show Northern Exposure, which is very fucking difficult to find a DVD set of. Like, it's like $120 for all those seasons, and that's like not even that big of a show. I mean, I don't know, but
I think it's fun to like something that has a cult status, because I follow so many Instagram pages of people that still like I don't even remember her Insta handle, but she does the cosplay of Shelly, and every single day she goes, because she lives in that area, so she always goes to Snoqualmie or whatever falls.
Snoqualmie, yeah.
She's always hiking there.
Remember when we were in Seattle and they had just Who Killed Laura Palmer?
Oh yeah, they had
everywhere?
Laura Palmer. I have a cigarette holder case with Laura Palmer. I don't know where the fuck that went though.
I don't know, but
damn.
I mean, that's the thing is like when you're in that area, you can see the influence there too. I mean...
Well, yeah, I listen to KEXP every day, and every day they have Dale's little speech about drinking the coffee once a day. You have to treat yourself.
Oh, yeah, you gotta give yourself a gift every day, once a day.
And then they play Shadows by Chromatics after. But I think they're from Seattle, right?
Yeah, KEXP's in Seattle.
No, I know KEXP is a Chromatics.
Sorry, the Chromatics, I have no fucking clue.
All right, well, they always
I wouldn't doubt it, though, because they were the big ones in the show. Like, there were a lot of bands that played at the end of season 3 episodes, but the Chromatics were a big one. Of course, 9 Inch Nails or whatever, but...
and Eddie Vedder.
Yeah, Eddie Vedder, and then James. But aside from that,
Eddie Vedder's from Seattle. I didn't even think of that.
Who was the... well, yeah, because... Yeah, I mean, that whole thing... Well, Kyle MacLachlan has a wine company from Washington, Pursued by Bear.
Have you tried that? Where do we get that?
No, it's very expensive. It's like $65 a bottle.
Damn, I'll have to
get
you one for your birthday and your meatless.
Don't worry about it, because I mean, just hey, on the down low, people, $20 a bottle for wine is enough.
Venmo handle Alex Langston 5592.
Actually, speaking of supporting the podcast, we are now on a podcast host that's different from before. So we are now hosted by Anchor FM. If you download the Anchor app on your Android or iPhone, you can leave us voice messages and we will respond to those. You can also choose to leave us a tip and support the podcast and help us keep the lights on, because right now it's kind of dark in the house and we're doing our best, but we want to keep this shit going.
Yeah,
and
we're getting cold over here.
Yeah, and so as you have noticed, there are little tidbits of me reading ads for Anchor FM in the middle of our podcast nowadays. And, you know...
But I think that's pretty cool. It's very interactive. Like,
yeah,
that's
it's cool.
Neat tool.
I mean, I don't mean to, because we're going to have an ad play in this podcast. I don't mean to be that douchebag who's like, you need to fucking do this. But I have been, if you are looking to start a podcast, Anchor is the way to go. It's really fucking cool. And that was for free, because this is not the scripted ad that we were talking about. But anyway, Kyle MacLachlan has $65 bottles of wine called Pursued by Bear. And I would love to try them. I would love to try a Cabernet or a Pinot Noir by Kyle MacLachlan's Pursued by Bear, but that's too much. So what I have read in the sommelier communities is that, like, if it's stupid, but there's 3 things you look for, and 2 of them are you want it to be bottled and you want it to be vinted by the same company. So it should say that in some order, not produced by, but vinted and bottled by. And then you want the bottom of the bottle to be a big old hole deep enough to stick your ding dong thumb into. And I haven't seen a bottle of Pursued by Bear, so I don't know what the quality is. I'm assuming because it's Kyle MacLachlan, and he's doing his best to do this shit, and he's from that area, that he's doing a really good job.
Dale Cooper never drank wine, so let's talk about the cocktail that they were drinking. That's a made-up one, but not sure.
Oh gosh, you're gonna like the blue ass grasshopper.
Yeah,
motherfucker
what was it?
Butthole.
It was like, oh man.
Dude, I'm never gonna remember.
Anyways,
that,
we don't have to sit there.
It's not a real drink. I've looked it up before. There are recipes, but and I'm sorry that we don't know the name right now. But
he drank. What was he drinking? I thought he was drinking beer sometimes, right? He had a beer.
Ooh, yeah, because towards the end of season 3, he let loose a little bit, I think. Like, it's really interesting to see that progression of character. Like, he wasn't afraid to have a drink here or there, but it seems like.
You know what's funny? Like, Dale Cooper to me is so boyish in a way. It reminds me, I think I've told you this before, but when Pee Wee Herman did his comeback movie, Pee Wee's Big Holiday, and then he was all wrinkly, but then like he had the same hairdo. That's kind of how Dale Cooper reminded me. It was kind of upsetting in a way.
You mean in the originals?
No, in the new, how he came back and he still has his slick backed hair and his suit, but then he's got the wrinkly face. It just reminded me of Pee Wee Herman when he came back.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's kind of like a Scully and Mulder too.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, I think they're a little bit more. I think Twin Peaks is a little bit more acknowledging of the age difference since it was 25 years. Also, Jade give 2 rides, and that upset some people. But
why would that upset people?
Well, Dougie Jones's wife wasn't very happy about it.
Oh, why?
I'm sure she does.
No, I'm sure she did.
Well, either way, she gave 2 rides.
Wow, her name was Jade?
I thought so.
Wow, that's crazy because 6ix9ine's stripper girlfriend's name is Jade too.
Everybody's stripper girlfriend's name is Jade.
I don't know.
There's only so many stripper names. But I think it's cool that also the 3rd season took place in so many different places. Like, there was mention of Seattle and Hong Kong in the original series because of Josie, but there wasn't really that much travel. And there wasn't really anything outside of the city. But
see,
having
that's
like
what
that
a lot of
cool,
people didn't like, though.
that it took place
that there wasn't
Twin
enough
Peaks.
Twin Peaks. But what can you do about it?
Well, yeah, I mean, there was, White Sands, New Mexico, which, welcome to the fucking club. Here we are, sitting here in Albuquerque, and we've had, like, 1 billion nuclear bombs dropped on us, pretty much. We're all going to die of horrible cancer because of it. And Twin Peaks started because of the first nuclear bomb being detonated in White Sands, New Mexico. And then there was New York with the glass box. There was, like, South Dakota, whatever the fuck was going on in that weird-ass desert bullshit. Which the guy who played Shaggy in Scooby-Doo, who got his head bitten in half or whatever, or crushed by the woodsman, like, that was pretty fucking awesome.
Did we ever figure out what the hell the freaking box was about? Shit.
I don't know if you necessarily...
Was it a piece of the Black Lodge or some shit?
Yeah, it was kind of like a window into that dimension. Like, I'm not really sure you figure out exactly what it is, but it's definitely like... I mean, you see Dale come in, like, manifest in the... It's kind of hard. Do you remember when... So he's in the Black Lodge and he falls through the floor and the tree says non-existent.
Yeah.
And then he goes through this weird trip of shit, like... And then he ends up in the glass box for a little bit. And it's sort of that... I think it's Doppelkoop who is that millionaire/billionaire who funds it.
That was so cute how Dale left another doppelganger to, what's her name, Dougie Jones's wife.
Yeah, to look over Sunny Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. because Dougie was a complete like idiot, I guess. Which is sad because Dale Cooper probably would have been a really good husband to that lady, but then he just like split and had to go like, which Dale Cooper didn't even really save the day, right? Like the
Sure
guy
he did. He beat that soccer ball, Bob.
No, he didn't. The English dude with the green glove, did,
Oh
with
yeah,
the dish glove
dang
on.
it.
Yeah. So the English guy beats up Bob's ball, and then Dale Cooper goes into the basement of the Great Northern into the weird black door, never to be seen again, to go to Odessa and take some weird version of Laura Palmer to her house where the lights turn off. So
Man, I wish they would make another. They're not going to though. Make another season.
I don't think so. I think that's all we're gonna get is the season that we got. I mean, which is really cool, and it was really weird to see Jim Belushi.
Man, he was kind of good in that.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of his best roles. And it's really cool to see him like be something that's not like a comedian in the footsteps of his brother. But there were a lot of people that I didn't expect to be in that season that did a really good job. Like Shaggy. I mean, the cool thing, do you remember when that came out and you could look at the website and you could cruise that funny website that guy was looking at and see all the funny conspiracy theories?
Oh yeah.
And there were like sound clips that would play. That was a totally 90s type of thing to do. Like
I know, I loved that.
It's really not common anymore for a TV show especially to have a website dedicated to it where you have a bunch of Easter eggs like that.
Why did you say Shaggy?
Because the principal of the school where the librarian died, remember she got her head cut off? And the principal of the school was the guy who got his head exploded?
Yeah.
He played Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh, I thought you meant the rapper Shaggy.
No,
Forgot again.
No. He was Shaggy in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And he was like the guy in 13 Ghosts and SLC Punk, and he's in a lot of really
squirrely
famous
kid,
movies.
the heroin addict guy?
That was Shelley's daughter's boyfriend, and I don't remember who that guy was.
Was he Macaulay Culkin's brother or some shit?
I don't think he was a Culkin.
Wow,
Kieran Culkin?
he looked real weird though.
Macaulay Culkin almost changed his name to Macaulay Kieran Culkin.
Why?
It was just one of those stupid things. He was having his name. They were voting. He had people vote for his new middle name.
Did he talk about how that maid of Michael Jackson made allegations a couple days ago about how she saw molestation happen?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't listened to anything a couple days ago.
Right.
Within that soon. That recent amount
I'm just
of time.
glad that David Lynch hasn't been a victim of #MeToo yet. Nobody's come out about him yet.
Well, I mean, it seems like he's a pretty good guy. I think like his the David Lynch Foundation, where they teach transcendental meditation, is really cool. Like, I don't know if you follow it, but I've seen a couple videos. There's like a guy named like Meditaty Bob or whatever, and he does all these presentations.
I should be Medicaty.
You should, yeah, that's a really good one. But this guy, you know, the David Lynch Foundation, I mean, it's really interesting to see the amount of people, of like really big celebrities that do talks for the David Lynch Foundation. Russell Brand has done it. Jerry Seinfeld did a thing on transcendental meditation where he's like, I haven't missed a TM session in years, decades, and talk about how much more productive it makes them. Like it's really kind of an interesting phenomenon.
I kind of got an inclination that he was into mindfulness, at least, because that one TV show that he does, the getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld or whatever.
Comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yeah, he seemed to be very, he was talking about just being in the moment and all that, because wasn't somebody discussing their anxiety with him? I think it was Zach Galifianakis, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that, like, out of all that stuff, like, The Art Life was a really good documentary about David Lynch, and it was kind of more about the, like, supplementary art that he does, I guess you could call it. In addition to his movies and TV shows, like he had that Rabbits TV show that was in Inland Empire. But that was the documentary where there were those two sayings that inspired the title for my last poetry book, In Your Gourd Off the Dime. Because he said something like, you're out of your gourd. or whatever, and then he was like, when you're living off your parents' dime, or something like that. And I don't know. I was
When
watching
was that in the documentary?
Yeah, two different parts in the documentary, The Art Life, which was, I mean, that's really interesting because it's all about like his paintings and his daughter.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah, it's a really good documentary, and he kind of sits around and smokes cigarettes, and I'm trying to think of when he makes the quinoa, and if that was a special feature on Inland Empire, or if it was something to do with...
I think it was a part of the documentary.
Yeah, I thought it was a special feature on something, on like Inland Empire or something, where he makes the quinoa and he adds broccoli to it, and he's like talking about it. He's like, and then I go outside and I smoke a cigarette, or something like that.
That sounds good right now.
Yeah, or how he calls Kyle Kale. Kale. Hey, Kale.
Yeah, then he calls Laura Beboop or some shit. Their relationship is kind of annoying.
Yeah, the real Laura, not the character Laura.
Yeah, Laura Dern.
Yeah. It was cool to see Laura Dern in a Twin Peaks thing, and I'm actually really surprised that she wasn't in season 1 or 2.
I'm happy she wasn't, though. I'm not a big Laura Dern fan. I think Naomi Watts is really good, though. Like, her in Mulholland Drive is amazing and everything. I don't think Laura Dern brought anything. The only movie,
that wasn't her.
Wild at Heart, she was good. And Blue Velvet, I mean, she's just kind of forgettable when you compare her to the other lady, but...
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but that's what her character was in that movie, I think.
Man, it's hard to have a whole show episode about like remembering things about TV shows and movies and
I know
specific.
It's so difficult to really recall.
I don't know who, like, you know how those podcasts that only talk about movies and stuff. I don't know how they do it. It's hard.
You really have to be. I mean, this is supposed to be the Twin Peaks episode, but of course it turns into the David Lynch episode, and then it sprawls out from there.
I think if we did this right after we finished, one of the seasons, we would be on our game. We'd be like, boo, 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 boo. Right now, I'm like, I don't know, but it sounds cool. It looks cool. Yep.
Well, I think if there's one thing that anybody takes away from this podcast episode, that it's... watch the first 4 seasons of season 3. Watch the first 4 episodes of season 3, because that shit will fuck you up.
And drink Kyle MacLachlan's wine if you're bougie like that. You could also drink Kiwi Mad Dog if you like. Ain't nobody gonna judge you. But just relax, dude. Just lay back, put your jams on, put the kids to bed, take off your pants and let it roll.
Pour a cup of black coffee, black as the night on a moonless night, and grab a couple jelly-filled donuts and sit back and take a bite of that donut and watch the world go around. Put on your jean
jacket and gray wig.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta have your denim. I was actually going to work the other day and I saw a guy in a full denim suit, and I was like, man, what a guy, like, to be able to do that, like, just rock the denim.
Do you remember Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears when they wore denim, like she had like a denim dress, and then he had a denim outfit and a cowboy hat? But I can't, like, girls are still wearing jean jackets, like, it's still a popular thing, and I can't do it. I tried one on and I was like, nope.
If I did it, I'd have to grow my hair really long and then shave, and then I'd do it. And probably lose like 40 pounds or whatever.
Why? You can only be skinny and wear a
you gotta look
jean
like
jacket?
Bob. You gotta look like him. Either that, or I guess I could kind of pull off Mike now if I cut my arm off. But I'd have to use some kind of weird drug that kept me from being...
I think you look like Dr. Jacoby.
Actually, that's probably more true.
For reference, if you guys want to know what we look like, I look like Shelly in the newest season. Or no, not Shelly. Audrey in the newest. And Alex looks like Dr. Jacoby.
Yeah, but I've always looked like Dr. Jacoby. I've never not. Even when I was born, I looked like Dr. Jacoby.
That I look like Audrey in the
Why
newest
would you tell me I
season?
look like Dr. Jacoby? But no, you know what's weird? I want to talk about this real quick, and this is going back to the actual Twin Peaks topic. Like when Mike was injecting those drugs to stop from being the evil Mike or whatever, I want to know where he was getting those.
Probably Dr. Jacoby, because he's a psychiatrist, right? Wasn't he? He was seeing Dr. Jacoby.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is like Mike wasn't from Twin Peaks. Mike was just passing through Twin Peaks to sell some shoes. And he had this supply of drugs that was keeping him from being a crazy killer like Bob was. And it was suppressing his inner like demon or whatever you want to call it.
Well, it wasn't Mike doing it. It was the guy who, what was his name?
Oh God, I don't know. But no, I mean,
he was possessed by Mike, and so he had those drugs to keep him at bay.
Yeah, it was like Gerard or whatever, Philip Gerard or Mike Gerard or something like that. I don't know, but either way, I mean, that's what I'm saying is like the drugs kept the demon inside of him from taking over. But where did he get those drugs? Like, I feel like that was a minor detail.
It was probably some fucking
like those things were much more explored in the new season. I think the little things like that where, you know,
well, he got the drugs from, who knows, I mean, he could have just went to an urgent care. You know, they prescribe psychotropics all the time.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's what that was.
Just kidding. I don't think that you can get antipsychotics at an urgent care.
Yeah, I don't even think you can get like epinephrine.
Well, who knows? I mean, it could have been just he could have. Dude, he probably just got it from the streets. It was probably like...
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, there was that crazy drug trade rumor thing about, like, Josie and the gangs and stuff
so he
like
probably
that.
got it from them.
And that was cool that they brought that up, but I don't know. I mean, we talked about a lot of Twin Peaks. We're kind of all over the place.
Well, let's talk about the best episode ever, though, real quick, is when they go to the casino. And
One-Eyed Jacks.
Yeah, and then he's got the little, everybody's dressed in their
money.
finest, and then Audrey be looking good laying in the bed, but then it's really creepy because Ben Horn tries to have sex with her, even though that's her dad.
Well, and Big Ed Hurley goes in and tries to win money and totally loses all the FBI's money. But that's also when they cross the Canadian border, and that lost Dale Cooper his ability to practice law, if you will.
It was just so fun because they were just getting ready to night out with the boys. Like, it was so cute.
Yeah, I think that was some of the funner stuff in season 2. I mean, because really, like, there was a lot of Josie, which I said, you know, I'm fine with the Josie episodes, and I'm fine with the James episodes, but those were a lot of, like, totally unrelated things that happened until Josie turned into that knob, that wooden knob in the drawer in room 314 or whatever it was.
Yep. There was weird shit before the soccer ball.
Yeah, but anyway, like I was saying a couple minutes ago, kind of been all over the place, but it's really not a linear show. And I think that a conversation that sort of just leads wherever you feel like it should go is exactly what Twin Peaks is. It's just this sort of presentation of emotion in an unorganized fashion that you could really watch out of order, especially season 3. I mean, season 3, David Lynch said you can watch in any order that you want, and there's a different order to watch it in where you can find out more information about it.
Damn.
And I know. I've always wanted to watch it like backwards and starting at the middle going out or whatever, where you do like 5, 4, 6, 3, 7, 2.
Do you think he's honestly doing that, though? Like, he's watching it in different orders?
He says that you can watch it. You know what? It doesn't matter.
Sometimes I feel like he's trolling.
I mean, that's the cool thing. I mean, sure, yeah, that's fine. But, like, it doesn't... I mean, it's all what we make of it, right? And like I said, we're kind of all over the place right now, but it's all what you make of it. And I think that's about it. I think we talked about... You should just
enjoy our aesthetic of our raspy voices. I hope you like it.
Yeah. So, thanks for listening to our all over the place, I guess sort of pseudo artsy fartsy episode that included like 15 minutes of a dream that I had about Twin Peaks. And we'll see you next time.
I was trying to think of an ending thing that they say in Twin Peaks, but... Alright, guys, you take care, and like I said, eat fast, accidentally starve, and keep on trucking.
And remember, a maresy dotes, a dozy dotes, a little lambsy divey, but a kiddly divey too wouldn't shoe.